Well, it's all live and Zoom element. And within all that, we would like to feel that we are praying and that there is a spirituality in what we do. We are not just passing text in between us. So I think all shuls are testing, experimenting that new reality of hybrid praise when there is an element of people here and there's an element of people at home. And we would like to make sure that all groups feel comfortable and feel that they are addressed. And here we are. It's a great excitement. It's been a long journey since before lockdown. And we, the community who comes back to Shul, we are not the same community that have left Shul in February, March 2020. We all had been through a lot. And that is to be counted, and that is relevant, and we are all aware of it. So I'm honored as your rabbi and friend to stand back on the pulpit on a Friday evening. We had the bar mitzvah, but the bar mitzvah were once-off events. Now we are starting again, and may it come to pass that we will never have to go to any lockdown phase where we will not be able to share the space of worship together. People have asked over and over, when are you opening? Where are you opening? We are opening today. This is the day. The time is now. The time is now. And we are the people. So let us start with that on the sense of the journey with Lechilach, which is to be found in several places in the prayer book, but mainly in page 645. And then Jessica is not only doing the Lechilach, Jessica also honoring us with lighting of the candles today. So there will be one set of candles that Jessica will light, and Leonard, who is here with me, lead the service with me, will light the other pair of candles here in the shul. Good evening, everyone. Shabbat Shalom. Welcome, Jessica, to you.
To a land that I will show you. Lech lecha, to a place that you do not know. On your journey I will bless you, and you shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing. And I shall make your name great. Lech lecha, and all shall praise your name. Lechila, all the place that I will show you. Lesimchat chayim, lesimchat chayim, lesimchat chayim, lechila. Trying to move it so you can see the candles. Ah, there we go. Not the candlesticks, just the candles. There we go. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech העולם, אשר קדשנו במצוותיו וציוונו להדליק נר של שבת. On page 119, in the spirit of our ancient tradition which unites and sanctifies the house of Israel in all lands and ages, we welcome the Sabbath by kindling these lights. And at the bottom, help me perfect my ways of loving and caring. Inspire me to make myself whole so that I may honor your name and create a world of justice and peace. By Martin Buber.
Amen. Glory to you.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav וציוונו להדליק נר של שבת. Amen.
Thank you. And I'd like to add for our reopening the blessing for the time. ברוך אתה אדוני, אלוהינו מלך העולם, שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה. Amen. Blessed are you, eternal one, who kept us alive and sustained us to live to this joyous moment. In page 129, there are two openings talking about how we enter the synagogue. And we have changed how we enter the synagogue. You are at home, you are in the synagogue, and you are here joining the service. Those who are at home, we are in this together. 129 at the top, you can join me. We enter this sanctuary to welcome Shabbat. Within these walls, we sit surrounded by numberless generations. Our ancestors built the synagogue as a visible sign of God's presence in their midst. Throughout our long history and our endless wandering, it has endured a beacon of truth, love, and justice for all humanity. Its presence guided our ancestors to life of righteousness, holding up to them a vision of their truest selves. Now we, in our turn, come into this sanctuary to affirm the sacredness of our lives. May we enter this place in peace. May holiness wrap around us as we cross its threshold. Weariness, doubt, the flaws within our human hearts, the harshness of the weak, let these drop away at the door. In the brightness of Shabbat, let peace settle upon us as we lift our hearts. In Pray, page 130, Psalm 95, Lechu neranena la'Adonai. Come, let us sing joyously to God.
I'm not sure. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay.
Come, let us sing joyously to God. Raise a shout for our rock and deliverer. Let us come into God's presence with praise. Let us raise a shout for God in song. For the Eternal One is great God and a great ruler of all divine being. Psalm 96, the following page 131. שירו לאדוני שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני ברכו שמו, בסו מיום ליום ישועתו, סהפרו בגויים כבודו, בכל העמים נפלאותיו, כי גדול אדוני ומולל מאוד, נורא הוא על כל אלוהים, כי כל אלוהי העמים אלילים, ואדוני שמיים עשה, הוד והדר לפניו, עוז ותפארת במקדשו. ישמחו השמיים, השמיים, ישמחו השמיים, ישמחו השמיים, ותגל הארץ, ישמחו השמיים, ישמחו השמיים, ישמחו השמיים, ותגל הארץ. יהי רם ימום לו, יעלו שדי וכל אשר בו, אז ירננו כל עצי יער לפני אדוני, כי בא לשפוט הארץ, לשפוט תבל בצדק, ועמים ועמים במישרין. 133, the end of Psalm 97 and 98. The Eternal One is sovereign. 133. The Eternal One is sovereign. Let the earth exult, and in many islands rejoice. Dense clouds are around God. Righteousness and justice are the base of God's throne. O you who love God, hate evil. God, guard the lives of your loyal ones, saving them from the hand of the wicked. Light is sown for the righteous, radiance for the upright. O you righteous, rejoice in the eternal and acclaim God's holy name. A psalm, sing to God in your song, who have worked wonders. Your right hand, your holy arm have won your victory. Eternal One, you have shown your victory, displayed your justice in the sight of the nations. You were mindful of your love and faithfulness toward the house of Israel. All the ends of the earth behold the victory of our God. 134. To you, Ori.
זמרו לאדוני בכינור, בכינור בקול זמרה, בחצוצרות בקול שופר, הריעו פני המלך אדוני. זמרו לאדוני בכינור, בכינור בקול זמרה, בחצוצרות בקול שופר, הריעו פני המלך אדוני. ירם הים ומלואו, תבל ויושביה, נהרות תמחו כף יד, הרים ירננו. לפני אדוני כי בא, ישפוט הארץ, ישפוט תבל בצדק, ועמים במישרים. ירם הים ומלואו, תבל ויושביה, נהרות תמחו כף יד, הרים ירננו.
We're moving to page 136, to the final psalm of the sequence, Psalm 29. I've mentioned it as we were talking about Shabbat Bereshit. This is the psalm that, according to the legend, Adam and Eve had sang on the first Friday ever. 136. מזמור לדוד, אהבו לאדוני בני אלים, אהבו לאדוני כבוד ועוז, אהבו לאדוני כבוד שמו, השתחוו לאדוני בהדרת קודש. כל על המים אל הכבוד יראים, אדוני, אדוני, על מים רבים, כל אדוני Kol Adonai behada, Kol Adonai shover arazim, Vaishaber Adonai et arzei halvanon, Vayakidem kemo egel Lebanon vesirion, kemo venremit, Kol Adonai ozev lavotesh, Kol Adonai yahil midebar, Yahil Adonai midebar kadesh, Kol Adonai yecholel ayalot, Vayezov yeravot veheipalo, Kulo medavot, Adonai lamabul yashav, Vayeshev Adonai melech leolam, Adonai oz le'amo iter, Adonai yevarech et amo b'shalom, et amo, et amo, et amo b'shalom. May God grant strength to our people. May God grant our people peace. So this week comes to its end. We have started on Wednesday, Thursday, the month of Cheshvan, which has no festivals, no Yom Tov whatsoever in it, and that in the Northern Hemisphere schedule, this is when we're starting to expect the rain, waiting for the rain. And here, we also had a rain this week, so this is a good sign. And the land is thirsty for the rain. This is the months when we have finished to sow in tear. There's nothing for us to do but to wait for the rain, praying, to reap in joy. I invite you to take a deep breath in and a deep breath out, and let this week be gone, and let the spirit of the Shabbat enter to this holy congregation, whether you are here in Shul, whether you are at home, wherever you may be. And let us congregate and welcome the Shabbat together, L'Chadodi, in 138, 139, and Jess will be singing it for us. Face the door. Oh, shalom, ateret bala, gam besimcha uvzola, tzok emune am segula. and straight. Please be seated and straight to Psalm 140, Mizmor Shir.
מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך העליון, ולזמר לשמך העליון. להגיד בבוקר חסדך, ואמונתך בלילות. עלי עשור לדבר, עלי היגיון בכינור. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך העליון, ולזמר לשמך העליון. כי שימחתני אדוני בפועלך, במעשה ידיך רנן. מה גדלו מעשיך אדוני, מאוד עמקו מחשבותיך. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך העליון, ולזמר לשמך העליון.
Psalms 92 and 93 conclude. Psalms 92 and 93 conclude the Kabbalat Shabbat section, and the part of Psalm 93 talks about out of the voice of the mighty waters. It is relevant to the rain we had this week in Johannesburg, last night even, and it's relevant to the theme. And it is relevant to the theme of the flood. So the eternal ocean sounds, oh God, the ocean sounds its thunder, the ocean sounds its pounding. Above the thunder of the mighty waters, more majestic than the breakers of the sea, is the Eternal One, majestic in high. Mikolot Maim Rabim, we are on page 141, in the third paragraph, somewhere in the middle, follow the Hebrew or the transliteration. Mikolot, call his voice, Maim is water, and Rabim is the mighty, like the word Rav. Mikolot Maim Rabim.
מקלות מים, מים רבים, אדירים, אדירים, משברי ים. מקלות מים, מים רבים, אדירים, אדירים,
And with that, we are moving to the Reader's Kaddish on 144, which leads us into the evening service. And then Leonard is going to assist me with that. Please rise, 144, Reader's Kaddish.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה. אמן. יאמר יברח גנותי וימלך מלכותי.
We can't hear you. We can't hear you. Okay. From the beginning. יתגדל ויתקדש.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה. אמן. יעמוד יברך חירותי וימליך מלכותי בחיי פונו יומכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל בגלו בזמן קריב באמרו אמן יש מרבה מבורך לעולם ולעולמי עלמיה יתברך יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשא בריחו לילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה ושפחתה ונחמתה דמירן בעולמה ויאמרו
Please turn now to page 146 for the Barachur and Jedas, please.
Sorry? Am I not supposed to be singing?
Yeah,
Yes,
Leonard was just
just
introducing
invited
you,
you.
but now he's frozen.
Oh. Die, 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 die. Die, 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 die. Die, 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 Baruch hu et Adonai ha-mevorach Baruch Adonai ha-mevorach ha-mevorach le'olam va'ed ha-mevorach ha-mevorach le'olam va'ed.
Please turn to page 148. Please be seated. And we've got a guest appearance by Aaron Brown from Beit Emanuel.
It's getting there. We're getting there. There's a video coming. As I said, be gracious with us. Which computer is that? Pastor? Which computer speaks?
I'm playing it from here. I don't know why it's not coming through that speaker.
This one.
I hope you were able to hear that. Please turn to page 150.
That must be totally off. Okay.
This is an hour of change. Within it we stand uncertain on the border of light. Shall we draw back or cross over? Where shall our hearts turn? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? This is the hour of change, and within it we stand quietly on the border of light. What lies before us? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? Baruch atah Adonai, Amariv Arabim. You turn to page 150. Ahavat olam Beit Israel amacha ahavta. Torah u'itz mitzvot chukim u'mishpatachim otanu lemadata. Al ken Adonai Eloheinu b'shukveinu u'kumenu nasiach b'chukecha v'nishmat b'divrei Toratecha v'bishmoretechem le'olam va'ed. Ki hem chayenu v'orech yameinu ובהם נגד יומם ולילה, ואהבת אל תשים ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני, אוהב עמו ישראל. Please turn to page 152 for the Shema and Jess.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed.
On page 154, Avta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol avacha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol moedecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi metzavecha yom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha v'veitecha v'lechtecha b'derech v'shochtecha u'kumecha v'chshavtam la'ot al yadecha v'hayu letotafortein bein einecha וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. And on 157, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אמת. And to page 157. In a world torn by violence and pain, a world far from wholeness and peace, give us the courage to say, there is one God in heaven and earth. The high heavens declare your glory, and may earth reveal your justice and love. From bondage in Egypt we were delivered. At Sinai we bound ourselves to your ways. Inspired by prophets and instructed by sages, time and again we overcame oppressive forces. Though our failings are many and our faults are great, it has been our glory to bear witness to our God, keeping alive in dark ages your vision of a world redeemed. Let us continue to work for the day when the nations will be one and at peace. Then shall we rejoice as Israel did, singing on the shores of the sea. And on page 158, Michamocha.
מי כמוך אוהל אדוני, מי כמוך נהדר בקודש. נורא תהילות אוסף אלה, נורא תהילות אוסף אלה. מהותך ראו בניך, בוקר לפני משה ומרים, זה לי ענו ואמרו, מי כמוך אוהל אדוני, מי כמוך נהדר בקודש. נורא תהילות אוסף אלה, נורא תהילות אוסף אלה.
ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב, וגואלה מיד חזק ממנו. ברוך אתה אדוני, גאל Yisrael. On page 159, this is a poem written by Gail Dendi of Bet David. Where will I find you, if not in the shelves of the heart, in the cupboards of my bones, on the spiraling stairways of my fingertips? Where will I find you, if not in the light that gathers us, each morning in its golden net, or in the light of the Shabbat candles, sturdy as the columns of your house? Each day I am called to recreate your house, with everything at my disposal, a never-ending stairway of righteousness, cupboards full of good deeds, shelf upon shelf of loving kindness. Please turn to page 160 and Rory with Hashkivenu, please.
ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך, ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך, Sukkot Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael ve'al Yerushalayim ufros aleinu Sukkot Shlomecha ufros aleinu Sukkot Shlomecha Baruch atah Adonai Haporei Sukkot Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael ve'al Yerushalayim ve'al Yerushalayim ve'al Yerushalayim Amen.
Thanks, Rory. And now please turn to the middle of page 163. We are a people in whom the past endures, in whom the present is inconceivable without moments gone by. The Exodus lasted a moment enduring forever. What happened once upon a time happens all the time. Now we turn to the Amidah, and please rise if you're able, on page 164. Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi yagid tehilatecha. Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi yagid tehilatecha. Page 166. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu Elohei Abraham Elohei Yitzchak Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leat. Ha'el HaGadol HaGibor v'Hanora, El Elyon Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'Konei HaKol, V'Zocher Chasdei Avot v'Imaot, U'Mevi Geulah, Livnei V'neihem L'man Shemo V'Yahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshiach Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Abraham ve'Ezrat Sarah. Page 168. Atah Kadosh, Atah Gibor Leolam Adonai, Mechayim Meitim Atah Rav L'Hoshia, Mashib HaRuach U'Marit HaGeshen, Mazriach HaShemesh U'Marit HaTal, V'Chalkel Chayim B'Chesed, Mechayim Eitim Berachamim Robim, Somech Noflim, Verofei Cholim, Umatir Asurim, Umakayim Emunato Lishanei Afar, Mi Chamocha Bal Gevurot, Umihido Melach, Melech Meimit Umchaye, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'emanata l'chayot metim. Baruch atah Adonai mechayeh hametim. Page 170. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh v'kodoshim b'chol yom yalu chasela. Baruch atah Adonai ha'el hakadosh. Page 172. אתה קידשת את יום השביעי לשמך, תכלית מעשה שמיים וארץ, וברכתו מכל הימים, וקדשתו מכל הזמנים, וכן כתוב בתורתך.
ותהה ליבנו, ותהה ליבנו, ותהה ליבנו לעבדך באמת, ותהל ליבנו, ותהל ליבנו, ותהל ליבנו לעבדך באמת. די 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 ותהל ליבנו, ותהל ליבנו, ותהל ליבנו לעבדך באמת. ותהל ליבנו, ותהל ליבנו, ותהל ליבנו לעבדך באמת.
And on page 173 at the top, may these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat. 174 with Ritzeh.
Ritzeh Adonai Eloheinu ve'amcha Yisrael utfilatam be'ahava tekabel ut'ileratzon tamid avodat Yisrael. Amecha, Amecha, El karov lechol korav, pnei lavadecha v'chaneinu, shofru chacha aleinu, v'techezena eneinu. B'shuvcha leTzion berachamim, Baruch atah Adonai, hamachazir shchinato leTzion.
176. Modim anachnu lach, Jess.
Modim anachnu lach she'atahu Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu le'olam va'ed. Zu chayenu magen yishenu, zu chayenu magen yishenu, atahu ledovado, ledovado. Magen נודה לך ונספר תהילתך, חיינו המסורים בידיך, ועל נשמותינו הפקודות לך, ועל ניסיך שבכל יום עמנו, ועל נפלותיך וטובותיך שבכל ערב בבוקר בצהריים, ערב בבוקר בצהריים, הטוב כי לא חלום רחמך והמרחם
Jessica, and for those who don't know, that was Jessica's own composition. We carry on page 176 at the bottom. Val kulam yitbarach v'yitramam shimcha malkeinu tamid leolam va'ed v'chol ha'chaim yeducha sela v'hallelu et shimcha be'emet ha'el yeshuateinu v'ezratenu sela Baruch atah Adonai Atov Shimcha Lachala Elehodod. Into page 179. Don't stop after beating the swords into plowshares. Don't stop. Go on beating and make musical instruments of them. Whoever wants to make war again will have to turn them into plowshares first. To page 181. We reach for you, our God, from our quiet places. May we stand still for a brief moment and listen to the rain. Stand still for a brief moment and watch the play of sunlight and the shadow on the leaves. For a brief moment, listen to the world. Let us stop the wheels of every day to be aware of Shabbat. Find the stillness of the sanctuary which the soul cherished. Renew the covenant of an ancient people. We need a quiet space to test the balance of our days, the weight of our own deeds against the heaviness of the world's demands. The balance is precarious. Steady us with faith. Quiet places and stillness, where we will hear our own best impulses speak. Quiet places and stillness, from which we will reach out to each other. We will find strength in silence, and with this strength, we will turn again to your service. And we'll have a few moments for your own thoughts, and then Rory will finish the Amidah with Oseh Shalom.
Oseh Shalom bimromah, Yaseh Shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru amen. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh
Yaseh
Shalom,
Shalom,
Shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael.
Thank you, Lena, for partaking in the service tonight.
And if you join us since we started, I want to welcome you and say that this is our first Shabbat evening service since lockdown. And we are still learning, but you can see here the kids are running like in the good old days, and people are praying here like the good old days. And what is not yet sorted will be sorted in due course. I'm asking you to be gracious with us. And I thank you for your patience, and I'm hoping that both the people at home and the people here are experiencing the service as we are. This is the phase when we are moving to the Misheberach. May the one who blessed our ancestors will bless those who are ill, those who are sick. It's very relevant for us all. And if you want to mention names here in Shul, at home, at the chat, you can unmute and say a name, please do it. And then we are on page 511, and Jess will lead us via the Misheberach, please. let's take a moment to mention names of people we pray for the well-being, renewal of spirit, renewal of body. Take a moment.
Miriam Merkel,
Yael Singer, Melvin Singer, Donna Bensky.
Esti Cohen.
David Lewis. Mi sheberach lavoteinu makor habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mi sheberach imotenu makor habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
Amen. And as I said earlier, may those who sow in tear indeed will reap in joy. Just a second. Russell, can you take the window from my screen? Shabbat Shalom, Chaverim. Shabbat Shalom. This Shabbat, Parashat Noach and the flood and the ark and the rainbow, and rabbis all over the world from all denominations putting aside their foibles and talking about the same theme, the ecology, the environmental message of this parasha. Prominent American Rabbi Art Green have said that every person, every generation, a contemporary rabbi, has its own weekly parasha, which becomes the story of his life in the most profound of ways. And I feel, says Rabbi Green, that the parasha of our generation is Noah and the flood. So, point number one, what was the problem? The Lord saw how great was man's wickedness on earth, and how every plan devised by their mind was nothing but evil all the time. And the Lord regretted that he had made the man on earth, and his heart was saddened. That's the end of Parashat Bereshit, which we end. Looked at personalization of God. His heart was saddened. And then in the beginning of Noah Parasha, it says, the earth became corrupted before God. The earth was filled with lawlessness. But they don't say what was the problem. They give a very generic description. What people were doing that was so evil. They don't tell us. There's plenty of rabbinic stories in this regard, and the rabbis gives a hint, which later on the Holy Book of the Zohar interprets later, which suggests that the sin of the generation of the flood got to do with a technological jump beyond the iron phase to the prosperity, over prosperity that came before that. The Zohar says the following: when Noah appeared in the world, he taught them to prepare spades and hoes. and later the people of the world sin before the Holy One, blessed be He. So that suggests that the technological advantage of the generation enable further successful agriculture, further effective agriculture, which created abundance, material abundance. But the technological advantage was not accompanied by moral values, by moral progress. So the leisure, the time, the power that technology had brought had led to selfishness and undignified behavior between one man and its fellow, and to a moral deterioration of the whole generation. How familiar it is. It's amazing that the master sages 2000 years ago could have come up with such a theme. We're going to meet it again. We today can testify that not the industrial revolution of the previous century, of the 19th century, sorry, and not the digital revolution of us. Yes, indeed, we have jumped in our abilities, we have jumped in our technology unprecedentedly, and we have new, enormous possibilities. But even today, technological advantage without spiritual and moral progress is harmful more than assists. How can it be that in an age of prosperity, there's so much hunger, there's so much social gaps? How can it be that the technology that was supposed to give us more leisure, more time, makes our life more stressful and busy? Why the resources that could have been invested in medical technology are going to the wrong place, to warfare? How can it be that instead of technology assisting us to keep the balance on this earth, this is exactly the problem? This is exactly what takes the planet out of balance. The technological progress cannot be stopped, and maybe it shouldn't be stopped. The technology for itself is a vessel, is a vehicle. It's not good or bad for its own. The problem is not the technology, the problem is us, that we don't know how to use it in the appropriate way. And the challenge that we face, and unfortunately we are going to inherit to the next generation, is how to keep our human image, the image of God, and our values, our human values, our social values, and how to keep the planet. Do you think Judaism and the Jewish people are going to last forever? No. Why? Because the Jewish people is part of the humanity, and the existence of humanity at this point of time is dependent on the existence of this planet. So there won't be Judaism if this planet will not be able to sustain life. Point number 2. Noah versus the generation. The person who is the ideal example of the guardian of the creation, the first righteous person, Noah. His life journey, his life mission is environmental task. He is an environmental, and model to environmental activist, and assuring sustainability for the generations to come. In what he is doing, you can see he embodied the responsibility that on us humans to leverage, to push, to manifest all abilities and talent that we have for the whole creation. So what's interesting is, as you're aware, many of you may be aware, that Noah has an interesting comment. He was righteous for his generations, in his generations. He wasn't a great righteous guy. It was the best God could find in that generation. I can relate to it. I really can relate to it. We are not the best that there are. We are not the wisest. We are not the nothing. But we are what God has to work with in this generation. It has to be sufficient because there isn't plan B. Now let's talk about the generation. The rabbinic story tells the following story. It's called Midrash Tanchuma. Midrash Tanchuma. It's a collection, compendium of rabbinic stories. They said to him, "Old man, why are you building this ark?" And Noach said to them, "The Holy One, blessed be He, is bringing a flood upon you." So they said to him, "A flood of what? If it's a flood of fire, we have a device which is fireproof. If it's a flood of water, that we will bring iron plates which can plate the earth and prevent the water from rising. And if it brings water from the heavens, then we have devices to absorb the water." So it's amazing to see the master sages predict how we think the technology, the devices that we come up with, will sort us out. No technology will sort us out. And from the other side, the Midrash emphasize Noach and his people with him, his 3 children, his wife, 3 children, and the in-laws, living together in the ark and investing so much human effort, which has no substitute. Listen to that. Our sages declared, during the 12 months of the ark, Noach slept neither during the day, neither during the night, because he was so occupied constantly with feeding all the creatures in his care. They were obligated to feed the animals, the beasts, the bird. Rabbi Akiva stated that they even brought into the ark 3 branches for the elephants and glass beads for the ostrich. Which ostrich? It's Gladbill, Gaspil, but never mind. Some of the animals had to be fed in the 2nd hour in the night and others in the 3rd hour of the night and so on. Rabbi Eliezer, son of Yossi the Galilean, says, because Noach once delayed feeding the lion bit him severely and he left the ark crypt. It's a floating game reserve. It's a total meshugane job to run it. So just to see technology versus the investment that one puts from his heart and soul. Point number 3, the rainbow. The rainbow is a sign, like the Shabbat is a sign. When we see the rainbow, there is a special blessing that we say, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, zocher habrit, vene'eman bivrito, ve'kayam b'ma'amaro. Blessed are you, eternal our God, King of the universe, who remembers the covenant, faithful to his covenant, and keeps his promise. A special blessing when we see a rainbow. That's obviously in the South African context very relevant. Now, in the previous parashat Bereshit, we saw how humans in chapter 1, humans are the tiara of the creation, the cause of the creation, like the whole world was created for the humans. Whether it is chapter 1, which gives all the creation as a dominion to humans, whether it is the chapter 2, when humans are the guardians, but it doesn't matter. It's like there is a hierarchy, and at the top, there are the humans. Noach gives us another model. The world is in severe fatal danger. And the job of the humans is to be the servant who is saving everyone else within a crisis. It demonstrates how in the world, after being banned from heaven, the responsibility to the existence is not on God, is on us, humans. The Creator, there's not much he can do. He's saddened in his heart. God is saddened in his heart. So there's nothing he can do. God delegated the agency to humans, and that's it. That's where the agency is now stuck on us. And if we are endangering it, then God is very sad. It is in our custody. It is in our stewardship. That's for the rainbow. I want to read to you those relevant verses. I have set my bow in the clouds, and it shall serve as a sign of the covenant between me and all the earth. When I bring the clouds over the earth and the bow appear in the clouds, I will remember my covenant between me and you and every living creature among us, among all flesh, so that the waters shall never again become a flood to destroy all flesh. When the bow is in the clouds, I will see it, and I will remember my everlasting covenant between God and all living creatures, all flesh that is on earth. That shall be a sign, God said to Noah, of my covenant that I'm establishing between me and all flesh. This is as powerful as the covenant of Sinai, but it's not just with the Jewish people, it's with all humanity and all living creatures. So point number 4, destruction. Back to the reality. Never again there will be a flood to destroy all flesh, but there is a lot of destruction. The world is destroyed. There is an environmental activist saying, they say the following: the Third World War is between humans and the nature. The bad news is we win. We know that our lifestyle not only hurts the nature, the minerals, the plants, the living creatures, but as we're trying to supply for all humanity, we are hurting ourselves. The idea of sustainability, the idea of dwindling, acknowledging the dwindling of resources that we need and taking care of all the junk that we create. This is our deeds. This is our lifestyle. It doesn't only hurt the nature, it hurts us. Even if we could have stayed indifferent to the destiny of all the species who are distinct, we cannot stay indifferent to the fact that public health is being deteriorating because of the pollution in the water, in the air, and in the soil. The crisis is not a theory, the crisis is reality. So, to conclude, it may be very inconvenient to think about it. Noah is a very relevant tzaddik, righteous person for us, the person who walked in diligently against time to build the ark, to save life. And this is a universalist righteous, not a Jewish righteous person, a universalist. We are the descendants of Abraham, but we are also the descendants of the children of Noah. And in that time when we live, we are commanded to lead the conceptual revolution that will bring us into fixing what it is wrong. And as for us, Beit Emanuel, let us think what we can do. We spoke about it previously. We spoke about greening our campus. We spoke about harvesting our water. We spoke about community garden. I suggest we speak about it again. This is the least that we can do if we are serious and if we are really intending to be an example, or not even to be an example, just fulfilling our duty, greening the campus, harvesting the water, changing the energy, making a community garden. And maybe if we talk about it and if we gather our forces truly by Tu B'Shvat, the Jewish festival of environment and nature, we will come with a plan. The time is now, and we are the people we've been waiting for. Thank you. Shabbat Shalom. We are soon to be done. You can see the kids are losing their patience. It's good. It's like we haven't had this indication, and we don't even have the chocolates like we used to have. We'll come back in due course. I'm inviting Jens from the care committee to introduce the Kaddish. Then I have something to say before the Kaddish as well. Jens, to you.
The Kaddish.
Guys, 5 minutes and we are done. Okay, go outside, 5 minutes and we are done.
The Yashet, the relationship observed by Irene Cluster, the mother of Richard Cluster, Louis Dovkin, father of Ivor Dovkin, Natalie Godin, remembered by Barbara Godin, Louis Hertzovitz, father of Natty Hertzovitz, Cyril Yakovitz, father of Hilary Baron Bat, Marish Levin, remembered by Arlene Midlane, Godfrey Rabin, father of Derek Rabin, Frida Schwartz, mother of Claire Lassar, Jacob Winter, grandfather of Bernice Yosalam. May their memory be a blessing and may they have long life. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. And I have two things. Can you bring me the camera back? Can you spotlight me again? Thank you. Rasta, can you take the window out of there? Thank you. I have 2 points to make before we recite the Kaddish. The Kaddish is in 598, but I got 2 points to make. The first, this week, there was the commemoration of 80 years to the massacre of Babi Yar in the Ukraine. The massacre in Babi Yar, Ukraine, was the most intense death operation of the Nazis during World War II, when within 2 days, using shooting gun machines, the Nazis killed 33,000 Jews, men, women, children, and babies, 33,000 Jews. It was after the capturing of Kiev, so far from Kiev. Again, the Jewish world and generally the world was commemorating 80 years to that. When you say 33,000 people, it's almost ungrasped. This number, like the number 6 million, and each one of those are individuals, which bring me to the point of individual case. I am asking to mention, I was asked to read a short message in memory of a person. You think you know somebody, and then you discover that that somebody carries a story that you were never aware of. And I was approached by Tabani and Sue, asked to read a short message for their son, who died in the age of 3 months some years ago. And I'm going to read it and saying each individual is a whole word. So I'm reading it on behalf of Sue and Tabani, Yizkor for Londikosi Emanuel Sigogo. Today, we remember our son, Londikosi Emanuel Sigogo, who went to his creator sooner than we expected on the 2nd of Cheshvan, 5756, 8th of October, 1995. He was a glamour and light of life for us as first-time parents, a young man showing a unique character of his own. He left and we were shattered. Your departure was another Lech Lecha for us, but we return to remember you, your parents and your siblings, Dali, Londi, and Noni. Death is a call to those who have served their time, but surprisingly also for those who are yet to report for duty. When you learn of the death of a stranger, death sounds distant. When you receive news about the death of an elderly parent, death becomes familiar. When you receive news about the death of a sibling, it pounces on your nerves. But when you lose your child, your son, your daughter, death hits home. You are silenced. You now have a close relationship with death. Part of you is permanently taken away. Son, remain a star. Londikosi Emanuel Sigogo, thank you, Sue and Taban, for sharing these words and for sharing the vulnerability, the fragileness. That's what makes us human. 598, please join me for the Kaddish. 598. If there are people who are holding your side, please join me. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, בעלמא דברה חירותי וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל, בעגלה ובזמן קריב ואמרו אמן. יהא שמי רבה מבורך לעלם ולעלמי עלמיה, יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם, ויתנשא ויתהדר, ויתעלה ויתהלל. שמי דקדושה בריחו, ואלה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דאמירן לעלמה ואמרו אמן. יהי שלמה רבה משמיא חיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום ממרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל ואמרו אמן. Please be seated. Thank you. You know what comes now? Announcements. Let's move to the other camera. Wait. Let them capture you on the camera.
I was very struck when the rabbis read the piece at the beginning of the service about how we enter into the service and now we enter into it in many different ways. And what struck me is that we enter into the service as very different people than we were 18 or 24 months ago. All of us have suffered. All of us have been changed in quite profound ways. Many of us have been sick, and many of us have lost people that were very, very dear to us. And so I wanted to just acknowledge that while we enter into the service in different ways, we also enter into the service as very different people. I also wanted to share with you, those of you who are not in Shul, just what it's like to be in Shul. It's a very beautiful experience. It's almost as if this hall has been waiting for us very patiently. There's something incredibly still about being in here. There's something incredibly gentle about being in here. It's almost as if the air just settles over you and just cloaks you in a kind of feeling that's so familiar, so warm and so safe. And it's as if this beautiful place has just patiently been waiting for our return. It's an incredible experience. On the announcements, there are just a few things I wanted to say. First of all, we've reached our goal for the High Holidays Appeal, or as I've now renamed it, the High Holidays Begging. Thanks to every single person who contributed. I know we all contributed with our whole hearts. There were a couple of large-scale donations, and while those will help us significantly to be able to continue to do what we are doing, I also think, and I'm sure the rabbi will agree, that they are not just useful contributions, but they are a vote of confidence in the way in which the shul has conducted itself over the last 24 months. We've conducted ourselves with incredible resilience, a lot of graciousness, and a lot of solemnity. And I think that the large-scale donations bear testament to the confidence people have in the way we've conducted ourselves. And then I wanted to share with you, before I go, just what the setup is like in here. And I know that I've been very effusive in many occasions about the role that Russell has played in keeping us all together. But being here in shul with him is even more remarkable than it is receiving him at home. There are at least 6 computers set up around the shul. There's one in front of me, there's one with Russell there, one over there. They're all over the place. Russell is the controller. He is switching between the different screens. He's making sure that the audio is coming from the right place at the right time. It's an incredible feat. And it means that while he's doing this, he is unable to partake in the service in the way that we are. We are all able just to surrender to it, to let it wash over us and the gentleness of Shabbat to sink in. And Russell is literally on his fingertips, on the go all the time. So Russell, again, I want to say thank you. We could never have the experience we're having without you. And it's awesome. Thank you very, very much. And finally, there are some items in the bulletin, and namely Russell has included all the 4 components of the High Holiday publication. Each one of them is magnificent. The last one that's just come out is the creative writing one, and it's spectacular. We have talent in this congregation that's extraordinary. So I'd urge you to look at the bulletin and look at all the the 4 components of the publication, because again, they speak to a congregation that is extraordinary in skill and extraordinary in production. And thank you, Erwin, and thank you to the whole team who made it possible. Shabbat Shalom, and see you next week. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Leslie. Thank you, Leslie. I want also to acknowledge the tech team. Tonight it was Simon Horowitz, our vice chair. Thank you, Simon. Tomorrow it's Scott, and he's going to do it from the shul. Tomorrow I'm here, 9:30. I'm going to lead the service from a bit below. I don't think will be many, but we are reopening and we will learn how to do it until we will nail it, and it will be smooth, smooth, smooth. Next week is the Challenge Family Barmi, and we are all looking forward to that. I have a point that in the bulletin there is a questionnaire about our services. Please fill it, because we would like to have your feedback and we are very curious about your opinions. It is clear that we are going via a transition. So as we are going to make decisions, it is important for us to consider what you people got to say. Please fill the questionnaire. I would like to have some tens of answers for us. And last thing, and again, I want to thank Simon Horowitz, the Hillbrow campaign, the sandwiches campaign. Please continue to bring food for Hillbrow. Bring the food on Wednesday, and the food is distributed in Thursday. Friends, it's a drop in the bucket of the needs of Hillbrow and of the needs of this country, but for the 200-300 people that are queuing up on Thursday morning at the entrance to Temple Israel, that makes the day. It's a huge difference, and I'm aware that it's a drop in the bucket. With that, I think we can conclude. Those who are here, please join me in the hall for modest brucha. We haven't fed today. We didn't even know to how many people to cater, and we'll get. Everyone asked me, is there brucha again? We'll get there. Okay, we'll get there. Give us some time. And Rory, lead us in Adon Olam 625.
Adon Olam asher malach b'terem kol yitzir nivra Adon Olam liet nasa v'chefzo kol azay melech shemo nikra Adon Olam asher malach b'terem kol yitzir nivra liet nasa v'chefzo kol azay melech shemo nikra ואחרי ככלות הכל לבא הדוינוך נורא אדון עולם והוא היה והוא הווה והוא יהיה בתפארה אדון עולם אשר מלך טרם כל יציר נברא לעת נשא בחפצו כל אזי מלך שמו נקרא והוא אחד ואין שני להמשילו להכבירה אדון עולם בלי ראשית בלי תכלית ולא העוז והמשרה אדון עולם אשר מלך טרם כל יציר נברא לעת נשא בחפצו כל אזי מלך שמו נקרא והוא אלי וחי גואלי בצור חבלי ביצרה אדון עולם והוא ניסי ומנוסי ונפסי יום אקרא אדון עולם אשר מלך בטרם כל יציר נברא לעת נשא בחפצו כל אזי מלך שמו נקרא בידיו כדרוכי ויתישן בעירה אדון עולם ואמרוכי גביעתי אדון עלי ולא ירא אדון עולם אשר מלך בטרם כל יציר נברא Liet Nasav, Cheshepol, Sai Melech, Onikra.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Shabbat Shalom, Rabbi.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat
Come, guys,
Shalom,
join
everyone.
Join us for the group.
Shalom, Simone and Puppy.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Shabbat Shalom, Ketura. Shabbat Shalom.
Leslie, Shalom, and Robin.
Who's there in
Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Robin.
Shabbat Shalom.